Welcome back to Conversation Design. In today's video, we're going to be making a Conversation Heart Wreath for Valentine's Day. So some of the materials that you are going to need is a white cotton cord, about 16 inches in diameter, twine, a stiffen quick spray, paint of your color of choice. The paint will be for the Conversation hearts that we're going to make. Ribbon, your choice again, if you want to use a ribbon to make a bow for your Conversation heart or not, it's optional. A varnish, hot glue gun and some extra glue, a macrame comb or a comb that you might have on hand. Don't necessarily need the macrame comb, it just might help. A macrame brush is also optional, but I highly recommend the brush. It does help separate the cording nicely. Scissors, a large and small pair, a paintbrush, one chenille stem, a 12-inch wire heart wreath frame. You can do 14 inches if you'd like. I did a 14-inch and it's wonderful. You can do 12-inch, you can go smaller, whatever works for your decor. A rotary cutter, here again, not really necessary, but I do like how it cuts. A sewing ruler, here again, optional. Alphabet stickers, a ruler, some wood hearts, 2 sizes would be good. Don't know if you'll really need the 2 sizes, but it's always good for options. And a cutting mat. I'll be listing these supplies in the description down below if you didn't get a chance to see it or you need a little more clarification. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our white cording and we are going to cut 40 12-inch lengths. Now, 40 might be too many, it might not be enough. We're kind of estimating, and that's okay. We're going to make 2 piles because one will be for the 12-inch lengths, and I'll cut a couple here. And then we're going to do another pile with some that are 10 inches in length. And I'll cut a couple of those. Once again, 40 of each, and I'll see you back here in a minute. All right, as you can see, I am coming to the end of my white cording. The only reason is for this because I have used this cording in another project, so I'm not going to have enough for this particular craft project that we are working on in this video. So I do believe that one of these will do a 12-inch wreath. So if you just need to buy one, I think that will be sufficient. Also, on these at the tips is a little plastic thing that you do want to cut that off as well, so you don't have that on there. So I just take my small scissors and I just take that off. And don't worry, so I just pulled a little bit, that's okay. Just pull it back, it's not a big deal. And you'll see why. But I just take that little plastic piece off and then I've got that going. And I have it on this one, so I'm going to cut this off. And then I'm just going to continue cutting my 10-inch cords. So also, if you want to do different colors, and I'll kind of show you what I mean by that, but you might want to get some white cording with some pink or some pink and some red cording, whatever you would like, but then you'll definitely need one of each of these to do that. So I'm just going to continue to cut my 10-inch cords here, and I will be back with you in just a minute. I have my 12-inch cord cut and I have my 10-inch cords cut, but we're going to need one, maybe two pieces of cord that's really long for down here at the point of the heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it about 16 inches. And I'm going to cut it right there. And I'm just going to do one for right now. We'll see if we need to. We can always cut another one. So have at least one all ready to go. Now we are ready to start putting our cord onto our wire wreath. So to help you see what I'm doing, I did cut some pink cord because I think it will be easier for you to see the process that I'm doing. And if you're doing two different colors of cord, this is a little tip of how to do the two different colors, because the one you'll want on the upper one and the other you'll want all the way through. Okay, so we are going to first take our pink cord, or whatever color you have, and you're going to put them together and you're going to go under these two wires. So the inner one and the middle one. You're going to pull it together, and then you're going to put the cords, two ends, through the loop, that, and pull it together, like so. Pretty tight. All right, then we're going to take a 12-inch cord, going to do the same thing. However, we're going underneath all three wires, just like that. Okay, with the loop facing outward and the two ends together. You're going to bring the two ends towards the loop, bring it through the loop, and pull it tight. And let's do it again. We're going to use the pink one this time. And here again, we're going to make that loop, and we're going to put it underneath the two wires, pull it through, bring it across and through, and pull it tight. Take your 12-inch, make your loop, put it under all three, it through, and pull it tight. I like doing it this way because it's not showing the wire wreath that much, and we like that. And it gives dimension. And if you're using different colors, it gives it a nice balance. So for our wreath, though, that I'm making for this channel, I want it to be all white. So easy to take apart, just pull it apart. And I'm just going to put the pink aside, and I'm going to take my 10-inch white, and I'm going to just put it underneath those two wires, loop it, and pull it through. And another. And pull it. Okay. I'm actually going to, so if you don't like how it's looking and you're like, no, see how I just took it out? I'm actually going to put this one in with these other two. So I pulled that out and I'm just gonna redo it. So it's very nice that, you know, if you make a mistake, mistakes are okay. And then I'm gonna pull this one down, and then I'm gonna go back to another 10-inch. Put it in, loop, and pull. And then push it down. Take a 12-inch one now, go through underneath all three, pull it around, and pull it through. Okay, and we're just going to continue alternating from the 12-inch and the 10-inch, from the middle to the outer. We're just going to keep doing this all the way around the wreath. So I'm going to continue doing this. I am going to stop when I get here so we can work on this part together. It's a little more difficult, so we'll work on it together. I've made it around, so I'm right at the tip now, the top. I'm going to take a 10-inch cord, and I'm going to do the outer, the inner and the middle. I'm going to come through just like I was doing and pull it. Okay, and then I'm going to take a 12-inch and I'm going to just go through this inner wire. So I'm going to take it in there, and I'm going to do the same thing with the loop and pulling it through. I'm gonna put it on this side, pull it. Okay, when I'm all done, I will go back and I'm going to use the glue gun and put glue here at this tip. But for now, I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to go back to my 10-inch. I'm going to loop it and pull it through the middle. And I'm going to keep scrunching it down. Okay, through this whole other side, I kept scrunching it down. Okay, you want to keep doing that. And now I'm going back to my 12-inch, and I'm just starting again with the other side. It wasn't too bad, not too bad to get that middle part. And as we maneuver things, we move it around and get it until we like it. And 10-inch, and you see this, there's these little wires in the middle. So I kind of work around those and make it scrunchy around those, so there's not too much space. Okay, just like that. 12-inch again, underneath all three wires. Loop it, pull. And now we're back to the 10-inch, and I'm just going to keep going until I get down to the point. We are at the tip here. It's actually the bottom of the heart. We have 3 pieces of cord left. And this is how we're going to do this. We're going to take a 10-inch cord and we're going to just go under the one wire in the middle. Same process, loop facing you, cords ends equal, go through, pull it tight. We're going to take 12-inch and we're going to do kind of the same thing, but we're actually going to go under the outer wire as well, and we're going to loop it and pull it. Okay, now with our 16-inch cord, we are going to put this one through underneath all 3. We're going to pull it tight. We're going to get it to that point. Okay, now we're going to use our glue gun to make these a little more precise. While I'm waiting for the glue gun to heat up, I'm going to maneuver these around a little bit to get it to look more the way I want it to look. So I'm just kind of moving them around, moving them down, getting this middle longer piece. Remember, this piece needs to be cut longer. And I'm just trying to push that in there, get this more the way I want it. When we go to brush these out, this will be covered, so I'm not too concerned about that. Pushing it back down this way a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to flip this over. Okay, and I have my cords that I'm working with right here. It's that 16-inch cord. Okay, and I am going to put glue right here, and I'm going to push these together onto the glue. Okay, so and push and hold. Gotta hold it. So see how I'm pushing it, and I'm just gonna hold it. I think this is probably the hardest part of doing the heart wreath are these points. So I definitely want to show you how to do these points. So just hold it. Just hold it, make sure it's drying. Because once we let go, we want it to hold really nicely. All right, I like that. I'm not going to turn it over yet. I need to glue this point up here. So I'm going to actually turn it this way, put it kind of up. It actually is covering quite nicely, but let's just secure it on there. Okay, now we're going to flip it back. Looks good. And this looks good. Okay, it's time to move on to the next step. Our next step is we're going to untwist these cords. So every one of these. And what I like to do is I just untwist each one, kind of pull it through. And I'm going to do all around our wreath. So every one of these, we're just gonna separate the cord. Now that we've got the cord all separated, now we're going to take our macrame brush and we are going to start brushing the cord, the tassels. I like to lift up the top ones. Make sure I'm getting all of them. The reason I separate the cords is I just find it easier to, when I get to this point, to brush it. It takes a little time to separate it, but I just like the way it looks. Okay, I gave it an initial brushing. Now I'm going to take my comb and I'm going to go in and I'm just going to really make sure everything is separated, tighten these up if it needs it, move on. And this is where you can use just a standard comb and separate and just comb it. Here's where I'm really going to be lifting it up and combing it. You can see how both combs work really well. Okay, once you are done with that, we are going to get ready to start cutting it so it's not as jagged. We want a nice sharp edge. After combing out the cord on the heart, I've noticed some gaps that I'm not too happy with. So let's try to fill this in together. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but that's part of this, right? We've got to try different things and see if they'll work. So I want to do it with you. So I'm going to get my stuff back out. I'm going to cut a couple, at least 2 for right now, cords at 12 inches. And let's see if we can fill that in and make it look better. So I'm going to take this one and see all this space right here. I think we need to fill that in. So still having the loop facing towards you, we're going to put it just through that one. We're going to pull it. We're going to do that again. Just through that outer wire and loop it and pull it. Okay, and I think we need one over here. So we're gonna get this cording back out and do another 12 inches. Here again, outer wire, loop towards you. All right. So now I'm going to undo these. Okay, I like that better. It fills it in much better. Now it's time to cut the tassel. So I kind of already set up the cutting mat and my ruler, and I've just been kind of placing the ruler to where I want my cut to be. Remember, this tassel right here is our longest point. I know these we kind of got in here that are longer, but this was what we wanted to be our longest. So I want the tip to be right in the middle of that tassel. So I'm going to bring my ruler in, and I've got to do it on an angle, but I also want some space between these lower knots and the upper part of the ruler. So just using my middle finger, I'm just going to make sure that I'm keeping that space. And I'm going to hold my ruler tight. I'm going to take my rotary blade and I'm just going to cut a little bit upward. You need to give quite a bit of pressure. I'm going to cut and stop. Still holding the ruler, I'm going to pull these away, and some did not detach, so I'm going to do that again. We got that. Okay, with these extras, we can just take our scissors and cut. Okay, I'm going to take that away, see how that looks. I like that. And we're going to take our scraps and just throw those away. All right, now we're going to move our cutting board up, and we're going to get our comb. And make sure that these are nice and ready to be cut. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our ruler, making sure that this edge is still nice. And we're going to move our finger through, hold it tight, and cut. I'm also going to take my ruler, make sure that we're pretty much doing the same all the way. Okay, so we got a little longer here. So we're going to fix that as we go. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. You can always get a new cord and put it in there, and then just do the same process, untwirl it, brush it through, and then you've got your new piece. You want to make sure the knots are all in the same spot, because if the knots aren't in the same spot, your measurements are going to be different. So making sure your knots are in the same spot, because if my knot's up here, then I have, you know, a little over 2 inches. But if it's where it's supposed to be, then it's just barely above 2 inches. So we're getting to the curve part. So now we're really going to start measuring and cutting with our scissors. So these are about 2 inches. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And I'm just going to start cutting around. I know some of these are a little tricky. The bottom, and I'm just going to keep doing this, keep measuring, a little over 2 inches, All right, I'm going to keep going around, still measuring. I'm not using the rotary blade anymore. I'm just going to be measuring it and cutting with the scissors. All right, I'm coming up on a tricky part. It's our points again. Not sure how I'm going to do this yet, so I thought, okay, we'll do this together. That way, if there's mistakes, that's okay. So I'm gonna pull that one down, and I'm going to pull these down as well the other way. So I just have these that I'm working with. And I'm actually going to move these out of my way. Right now, I just want to work with these. So I'm going to do my 2 inches with my scissors. Well, a little over 2 inches. It is about 2 inches. I'm going to go all the way down through here. I'm actually going to move this one away too. Working from that upper knot, 2 inches. This one I'm just going to eyeball. All right, now I'm going to pull this piece down, comb it, and do my 2 inches. I'm actually going to lift this bottom one up that we've done already, comb it, and I'm just going to use that as my guide for this one. All right. I'm going to leave those for right now. I'm going to start cutting this side, just so I don't cut too much off. Okay, and just keep working that this way now. Okay, and then I know I have to start. Now, I am right-handed, so I've got to turn it around. So since I need to turn it, we're going to work on this other point. All right, so we're going to find our point. Sure, it's all the same we were before. I'll do it a little bit bigger because I can always cut more. Oops, I was not holding it tight enough. So we'll do that again. Still not tight enough. All right. Okay, we're going to try it from this angle. Okay, so I've put my ruler down, got it tight, got my finger length there. This is my point. And I'm just going to come up here a little ways. And I'm going to cut. All right, that was easier. Let's see how that looks. We'll take care of this here in a little bit, but I like that. And it's Got our almost 2 inches going, so that's good. All right, let's keep going with the angle. And let's comb it down. Don't forget to comb it down. We want to make sure we're getting all those strands. All right, on our angle, I'm going to go up to about here. All right, so now I'm going to start the measurement from the top one, and I'm going to go in here and start cutting it. Some of it will be eyeballing it a little bit. I'm going around this part, doing the same, just little bit at a time. Little bit at a time. I'm actually going to turn it this way now. I'm going to get the rotary blade out of the way. And I'm going to bring it this way. Comb it. Measure and keep going. Remember, from the top one. I need to go back because I can tell those are a little too long. So I'm going to come back in here and cut those shorter. We are back up at the top of the heart. We still need to cut these. Also know if you can eyeball it all the way around. You don't have to use a ruler. I'm just not that talented at eyeballing like that. So it helps me to use the ruler. So, you know, it's preference of what you want to do. We need to fix some pieces like that right there. We need to make it more straight. And we'll go around here in a minute and fix all those. But let's take care of this part up here. So you can kind of tell this one is on this angle, so I'm going to cut it on the angle this way. And I'm going to take this side. This one is more on the other angle, so I'm going to lift this one up and angle this one the other way. Okay, and then we've got the top one. So half of the top one's going to go one direction, the other half is going to go the other direction. I'm going to separate it in the middle there. Okay, and I'm going to take this piece and angle it. And I'm going to take this piece and do the same. All right, looks good. All right, so now we need to go and cut all these miscellaneous pieces off. Okay, so we're just going to lift up and we're just going to eyeball it the best we can and go around the wreath and take those extra pieces off all the way around. Let's turn it the other way, see how that looks. This might change a few things. Yes, it does. So please make sure you turn it and then comb it. Look at all those stray pieces that we need to cut off. All right, perfect. We're going to turn it back, take one more look at this, and it looks good. Don't be afraid to just take your time. Make it the way you really want it to look. Before we move on our white wreath, I wanted to show you how to do a different colored wreath where there's two different colors. So I prepped this already. So the top knots, you are actually going to take that color and you're going to pull it up, kind of just getting it out of the way. You can have either color on the bottom, either color on the top, doesn't matter. It's preference. I'm going to go up a little bit so I can show you. Okay, we are going to comb the pink out. Now the pink is the bottom part, so it is going to be our longest point. So for these, I'm gonna see which one's my shortest actually. So I'm gonna go about 2.5. I'm gonna cut it 2.5 inches for the pink. All right, so I'm gonna hold that. I'm going to cut it. Now I'm going to bring down a couple of white and decide where I want to cut this. Okay, so I do want it smaller than the other. So I'm just going to kind of look at this a little bit. I think I'm going to have it probably a finger length and a ruler length. Okay, so now I'm going to lift this back up because now I know what I want. And I'm going to take my cutting mat and put it on the pink or your color of choice tassels. And I'm going to bring all these tassels down. So I said a finger length and a ruler length. Okay, the reason we put the cutting board there is so we don't cut the pink with the white. So we have this all the way across with the measurement. I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to cut that. And then when I take this away, we have two layers, two different colors. This one's got a little away from us. So I will cut that with the scissors. And there you have it. Now, you might want to use this for measuring. If you want it a little bit smaller, you can always cut a little more. If this was just to give you more support for the measurements. Not necessary, but a nice little tool to have on hand. So that's how you do the two layers. All right, cleaned up my area a little bit and now we're ready for the next step. So I've already turned it around. So here's the front and I want it on the back side. And I'm going to comb it out. Just checking one more time for any little stray pieces. And now we are going to spray it with our Stiffen Quick. So I'm going to move the comb out of the way. I want these points to be exactly the way I want them to be. So I'm going to get my spray out, shake it up just a little bit, and then I'm just going to start spraying. Spraying it, this will give it a little more of a stiffness to the tassels. So when you hang it on your door, it will look amazing. Go all the way around. Make sure it's really quite saturated. Not too saturated, but to where you can feel that it's wet. It is messy, so please make sure that you put some paper down, parchment paper, any type of paper or something to protect your surface. Once the back has dried, we're going to flip it over and do the same thing to the front. But we need to let this dry probably for a good hour or two. Once you have sprayed this side, the back side, you're going to flip it and we're going to spray this side. After spraying it, we have to let it dry for a while too. So we're just going to move this up out of the way. And while we're waiting for that to dry, we can paint our hearts. So I have two sizes of hearts here. I'm just going to be using the small hearts. I thought about doing both, but I think the big hearts are just a little too big. So I've decided to just go with our small hearts here. So the colors I've chosen for my particular project is red, pink, and purple. And we are going to do 2 hearts of each color. All right, so what I would do first is put just a little bit of paint. You don't need a lot. And do the outside edge first on all of these. You'll do the same process. I would also give it about 2 coats per heart. Okay, it kind of went over a little bit, so I'm going to take the paper towel and I'm just going to get those little, I'm not sure what you call them, just the over spray of it. Okay, then I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to just paint it. And I'm going to do this on all of the hearts. Same process on all of them. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to put another coat on. Then I'm going to do the back side, and let that dry, and then I'm going to do the pink hearts and the purple hearts. All right, I painted the hearts. They are dry. And now we get to put our sayings on our conversation hearts. So I just kind of wrote up some sayings that I would like to do for my hearts. You can choose whatever sayings you would like. There's so many out there. They're all so fun. So what you're going to do, you're going to have your stickers close. I decided to do all black stickers for these hearts. I thought about intermixing, but I'm just going to do black. So I'm going to use a small ruler, line it up, and the first one I'm going to do is Be Mine, and I'm going to take the sticker What's nice is you can just play around, see what you like. Just make sure it's as straight as you can get it. And then you have Be Mine. Okay, I'm going to continue to do my checklist with the rest of these, and I will show you what it will look like here in a moment. I highly recommend making sure you get 2 packages of your stickers. I had to change some of my sayings because I didn't have enough ease to do what I originally had planned. So I just changed some of the sayings. So please make sure you get two of them. It will help. All right, once you are done getting the stickers on, you're going to take your matte finish and you're going to coat these front and back and the sides twice. This is really good, especially if you want to have this outside on your front door. You definitely want to get a nice layer of varnish on these hearts. While you wait for your wreath to dry and for your conversation hearts to dry, we can work on our bow. So we're going to take our bigger piece of ribbon, and I'm going to do mine at 8 inches. So we're going to cut those 3, put those aside, and then I'm going to take my pink ribbon and I'm going to cut that at 8 inches as well. And our white, same thing, 8 inches. Okay, now with these ribbon, we're going to, before we assemble them, we're going to make the little decorative ends on them. So I'm going to fold it in half, and from the outside to the end, I'm going to cut on an angle, and it makes a beautiful little decorative edge. Do that on both sides, and do that to all of the ribbon. Okay, the sheer ones are a little more difficult. Just make sure you line it up really well, hold it tight, and same thing, outside to inside, cut on an angle, and it will work really nicely. Just make sure you're holding it tight. From experience, I have found that if you don't, it looks funky. Okay, now after you have cut those, I kind of put them into piles of my hearts, my pink and my white ribbon, and we're going to start making our bow. So I'm going to lay this one just flat and horizontal, and then this one a little more on a slant, and this one on another slant, kind of making a fan type. And then I'm going to do my pink same. I'm going to do it across, and then across, and across, and then the white same. Then I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, I'm going to cut it a little smaller. I don't need all that. Okay, and I'm going to crunch this together, just like that. I'm going to get my pipe cleaner and I'm going to wrap it around my bow twice, just like so, securing it down, just like that. Now I'm just going to maneuver the ribbon around to where I like it for my bow. I think this one's a little too long, so I am going to cut this one shorter. And say, well, actually I like those that way. All right, I'm gonna cut this one too. And I'm going to cut these a little bit shorter as well. I also cut an extra little piece of ribbon to wrap around the middle here. Once our glue gun is hot, we can secure that on there, so it gives it a prettier look. Okay, so as soon as our glue gun's ready, and we're going to start putting our wreath together. So one thing we do need to do is I'm going to turn this to the back side. We're going to put our hanger piece on. So I'm going to take pretty good size of twine, and we're going to put this through the top part here. A little tricky because we've put it all together. I'm actually going to go this way. I like doing this at the end because it lets me see better where I'm putting it. So I'm going to, just like what I did with the cord, I'm going to loop it and tie it that way. Okay, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And I'm going to go just below the tassel part because I don't want my string to show. And I'm going to tie it into a knot. And then cut that extra off. And you've got your hanging piece. Okay, then you're going to turn it back around. And we're going to do our ribbon. The glue gun's hot, so let's put our ribbon around our bow. So we're going to start in the back of the bow. We're going to put a little line of glue. We're going to set that right on top, just like that. Wait a few seconds and then wrap it around, wrap it around. You can do it once or twice, whatever you prefer. I'm going to do twice, and then I'm going to put another line of glue and secure it on. And any excess I am going to just cut away. All right, so if you're doing a bow, you can decide where you're going to put your bow. Some like to put it down at the bottom, some on an angle. It's preference. I'm going to try it on an angle, just see what I think of it that way. So right now I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to place my conversation hearts around the wreath. I put them in different kind of angles. If I do this on the angle, this is going to be a little tighter, and that's okay. It's good to place it before you glue it. See if you like the way your mind is making it look in your head. And I like this. I think the bow needs to be up here a little bit higher. So I think I'm going to put my bow here and put this up a little higher too. Everything up a little bit higher. Okay. I'm liking. So let's glue it on. You might not want it to overlap into the middle, and that's okay. You could put it out here a little more. Whatever you like is great. All right, and then we're just gonna get some of these glue strings off of it, and you're done. And there is our Valentine Conversation Heart Wreath. All finished up. I'm going to show you another one that I did too. This is a bigger wreath that I did. This has the different colors of cording, but made exactly the same way. So I hope you enjoyed making this wreath with me today. If you like, please give me a thumbs up and remember to subscribe. We'll see you real soon.